Hello again. Now we are going to speak about the really endoscopic part of endoscopic third ventriculostomy. What happens when you're inside the ventricles? First, you have to think about the anatomy, which structures you will need to traverse before reaching your target, which is the floor of the third ventricle. You go first through the frontal cortex, through the central semiovale, the corpus callosum, where you may encounter some veins, which are completely unexpected. Then you are through the horn of the lateral ventricle, so the foramen of Monro, where you see the choroid plexus, the fornix. Then you are inside the third ventricle, where you can see the thalamic commissure posteriorly, then the mammillary body, and then you are on the floor of the central ventricle, where you have the tuber cinereum, and between the mammillary body and the tuber cinereum is your target, and you have to you go through the floor to find liquid membrane, and you have to be very wary of not injuring the basilar artery. So what happens when you are inside the ventricle? You see first the foramen of Monro, where you have the different anatomical landmark. You have the choroid plexus of the lateral ventricle, which leads you to the foramen if you are too far posteriorly. You have the thalamostriate vein, which is an excellent landmark, which is an anatomical constant. You have the septal vein, which is more variable and may be not so obvious, like here. Then you have the anterior pillar of the fornix, which is the anterior limit of the foramen. And through the foramen, you can see sometimes the thalamic commissure, which can be very large, like in this case. Then you are inside the foramen of Monro. You can see the choroid plexus of the third ventricle, the thalamic commissure, like here, the right thalamus. Then you look posteriorly, you can see beneath the thalamic commissure, you can see the aqueduct, and more anteriorly, the mesencephalon. And if you bend your endoscope anteriorly, you can see the floor of the ventricle with the mammillary body, the tuber cinereum, and the dorsum sellae you can see through the transparent floor of the ventricle. Once you have opened the floor of the ventricle, which can be very low, like here, you can see the cisterns. You have the tuber cinereum anteriorly, the dorsum sellae. You see the abducens nerve coming from the pontobulbar fissure. You can see the Dorellos canal where the sixth nerve goes. You can see the pons, and laterally the trigeminal nerve, and the Meckel's cave where the trigeminal nerve goes, the basilar artery, which divides into the posterior cerebral arteries and the superior cerebellar arteries. So you have to remember that the nerves of the CP angle are at 90 degrees each. And in the real world, you have some very disturbed anatomy, so you have to take the landmark, very specific start with a very specific anatomy, which is the vein. The second vein is the specific taking without any very effective. Here, what remains second, you see the laterally. Here you see the internal cerebral vein, which normally is being deep. And here in the pelvic vein, you have the mammillary body, the dorsal sellae, the anterior commissure, and here the basilar artery. So how do you perforate the floor? I have a marked preference for scissors and a sharp perforation because it avoids slipping to where you do not want to go, and it allows you to choose exactly the point where you do the perforation. You see here on this video, you can palpate the dorsum sellae, and here you can place exactly the scissor exactly where you want to go. And you see there is a double perforation. I do it again. You see a double crack when you perforate, because you have to open the neck and then the liver treatment. Then we use the neurosurgery to widen the hole we have done, and it is very possible the perforation in place first, and then you place the collar between the two balloons, just at the place where you want the membrane to be fixed. So this is a short video on an endoscopy of the third ventricle. You see the floor is low. Here you have the cisternal, you have the dorsum sellae, you have the mammillary body, and you will perforate with a scissor or whatever you like the floor of the third ventricle, and you will widen the hole with the neural balloon, as seen before. And once you have perforated the floor, you can see very shortly the basilar artery when you explore the system. So the perforation is done. You see the picture and you see the MRI with a nice flow through the perforation of the floor. There can be some good, there may be some variation at the base. You can have some when you have no elevation just to work until you can have variant intraventricular arteries like here, not described in anatomy. The floor of the cerebral is very low here, and you need really very long in the space. Sometimes the floor is very low behind the accumulated stress, and so it is difficult to reach the exactly align with the whole and Right, thank you for your attention, and I wish you the best for your surgeries. You can find more information on our website and more videos to watch on YouTube.